Lakeland Currents, your public affairs program for North Central Minnesota. Closed captioning is made possible by Bemidji Regional Airport, serving the region with daily flights to Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport. More information available at bemidjiairport.org.
Hello again, everybody. I'm Ray Gildow, and this is Lakeland Currents. And today we're going to be talking about the importance of small business. And we have a couple small business owners here and a chamber person, and I think you will find what they have to say to be very interesting. Cindy, let's start with you. Who you are and your title and what it is that you're doing.
So my name is Cindy Mugito, and I am the director of the Cross Lake Chamber of Commerce, which is a branch of the Brainerd Lakes Chamber of Commerce. So we serve over 1,000 members in the Brainerd Lakes region-wide, small businesses in the neighboring communities, and my specific office is in the Cross Lake community. So personally, I deal with the 150 members or so that we have in the Cross Lake area, a heavily tourism community, some retail shopping. Tourism is our number one industry in that specific community for sure, followed by the trades, really. A lot of construction in that area, and then the retail businesses and the service industries for sure. So it's a wonderful community to do business in. Everybody gets along very well. We love having local town events to help tourism have a great time and to stimulate the economy.
What are some of the things that you offer members when they work with you? If Paul or Josh came to you, what are some of the things that your office can do to help them?
As a business owner, one of the most important things, I think you guys will agree, is networking. Mm-hmm. So the more people you meet personally that will remember you and your store, that's going to bode well for you. So we do a very good job with networking. So we have local meetings just for the Cross Lake businesses. We have business after hours, Brainerd region-wide in businesses all over this region. So that's one of the benefits of membership for sure, as well as a website presence. We have several websites. When people are looking for things to do and places to go, they're definitely going to look at the local chambers websites and the tourism Explore Brainerd Lakes websites to find those businesses, find things to do, places to go. So those are two of the best things that we offer small businesses, as well as some educational classes. Maybe you have a business that you have some emerging managers or leaders in your business that you want to have a little more formal education on some of those things. We have the Blue Ox Academy that does a nice job of helping advance your employees in ways that maybe they wouldn't have otherwise had an opportunity.
Blue Ox Academy.
Blue Ox Academy.
And what is it they do specifically?
Training.
Training?
So we have leadership programs, we have supervisor programs, we have customer service programs. I mean, you think, as a kid you get your first job and you know how to sell ice cream or, what the sales tricks are, but when you have a formal customer service training session, it opens doors that you just didn't think of. So we just had one of those sessions. It was very helpful. So, that's a really great service that we offer businesses to be able to send their employees to.
Okay, Cindy, I've known you for about a decade, and I had no clue about this Blue Ox Academy.
It's fantastic. We have a leadership program that's really highly coveted. These kids, I call them kids, in any age can go through the leadership. And any age you can learn leadership skills. But they do a sampling of all of the careers that are available in the Brainerd Lakes area. I don't know, Josh, have you been through that leadership?
I've not, no. I'm interested.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Anybody that's gone through it will tell you. One day they do social services in the Brainerd Lakes area. One day they do school systems. One day they do manufacturing. So it's a 9-month program, one day a month, and it's intensive training on those specific categories of industry in our community. So you really do get an overview of the Brainerd Lakes area in a great way. So it's an annual program. But
last week I had Ben Winchester on the program. I don't know if you know Ben or have ever heard of him. He's with the University of Minnesota Extension, and he works with small businesses, and they do a lot of research across rural Minnesota and rural America. And we were talking about all the help wanted signs that are stuck around almost all of our communities. And Ben was saying that one of the things that drives that is housing. That a lot of the areas where we want to get more workers to come in and take these jobs is we need more housing. The other thing that drives it is they're not paying enough, and they're going to have to start paying more to get those people to work. Do you do research through the chamber at all into those kinds of issues?
We do. We're working on those issues constantly. In fact, I just came from a Cross Lake Economic Development meeting this morning, and we heard news that Brainerd is building 600 additional apartment units. It's in the works. Pequot Lakes has a 5 acres set aside for an additional housing unit, and Cross Lake is actually getting a 36-unit apartment complex, which is great for young families that want to move up here, figure out where they want to live, if the career is right for them. And then we need the single family housing is the next step towards that. So, the real estate market, as we all know, has gone crazy in the last few years up here in the Brainerd Lakes area. But we're hopeful that we'll be able to find housing for everyone.
Could you just kind of give us a view of what the Brainerd Chamber covers geographically and who's involved? Is it just Brainerd and Cross Lake, or are there other communities involved in your organization?
So the Brainerd Lakes Chamber actually has offices in Brainerd. We claim Baxter. We have an office in Cross Lake and an office in Pequot Lakes.
Okay.
But our membership grows much further than that. We have members in Crosby, we have members in Pine River, we have members in Little Falls, we have members in the cities. A lot of folks that own maybe a manufacturing company in the cities, but they have cabins or lake homes up here, and they just want to support the community. So people join the chamber for a variety of different reasons. And we do have those businesses that just really want to offer the local support. When businesses come together and, I think our number is 1,060 members this month. We have a large voice in the region, and we represent the Brainerd Lakes area very well and the business community there. But, we have a big government advocacy group. So, we know the local legislatures and the local congressmen that can help us with issues right here in the Brainerd Lakes area. So we do have members from, that Staples, Little Falls, some of those communities as well.
So Paul, what's your business?
So I actually own 2 businesses in north central Minnesota. For years I've owned Itasca Leather Goods, which is a small leather goods manufacturing company located in Lake George, Minnesota, just outside of Itasca State Park. And our primary product is handmade moccasins. I'm really proud of that business. We've had a staff, our shop manager has been with us for about 30 years. Wow. And so just a really niche kind of business. We have walk-in traffic throughout the summer months with visitors to Itasca State Park, but we have e-commerce through our website year-round. So holiday season is, of course, big online, and in-person business is massive in the summertime. Itasca State Park being one of the largest tourist draws in the state. The other business that I have founded is Victual, a specialty food store located in Crosby.
How do you spell that? Victual. And if you were to look it up in the dictionary, you would find that we actually mispronounce it. It should be Vittle.
But we worked with a high-priced branding agency that said you can never call it Vittle because no one will associate the spelling with how it sounds phonetically. So we mispronounce it, and we have people correct us on a daily basis, but we are Victual. We do a house-made ice cream made on site that is a full dairy product that is lactose-free, which is amazing. My spouse is lactose intolerant, and for years, more than a decade, I've been making lactose-free ice cream at home, and now we get to bring it to a wider audience. So we do that. We also have artisan cheeses from all over the Midwest and all throughout Europe. We have a great selection of charcuterie, which would be cured meats. And we also have packaged gourmet food, specialty wines, spirits, and liqueurs sold off sale. And then we do a lot of maker-made gifts. Better craft items, fine craft as opposed to arts and crafts kinds of things.
And where is your store located?
We're located in downtown Crosby on Main Street.
Oh, in Crosby?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So you've got two businesses spread out pretty
That's
good
right.
distances, don't
That's
you?
right. Keeps me busy.
And how long have you had the store in Crosby?
We opened in 2019, so
Okay.
we are in our 4th year of operation, and we are currently in an expansion project. So we are taking over the property adjacent to us and also adding on to the back of that building. So come spring, when ice is off the lakes, we should be at about 2.5 times our present size.
What attracted you to that area initially?
Oh gosh, the mountain bike trail system was the primary draw.
Really?
Started in about 2011. Over the course of a decade, it has really re-energized the city of Crosby. People say, why would you go to Crosby? And I tell them, you haven't visited lately, have you? Because it's a completely different experience than it was a decade ago. The town is vibrant. There are more and more new businesses opening up every year. And there is an infectious enthusiasm about the community. Everyone wants to go to Crosby now.
I remember when Aaron Ahadala and
Yes.
some others were involved in getting that started, and it sounded like a pipe dream,
It's
but it's gotten a
remarkable.
lot of publicity
Absolutely.
all over. Do you have a website? Do you do things on the web for your store in Crosby?
We have an informational website, and hopefully in calendar year 2023, we will be initiating some e-commerce from the Victual website. We are shopvictual.com.
So do you ever cross products in both stores?
Actually, I have some Itasca leather goods products available for sale at Victual. We carry some leather placemats and coasters, some journals and letter pad portfolios, and occasionally some of the briefcases or messenger bags that Itasca Leather Goods makes.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Josh, what's your story?
I started Woodlore Cider with my wife. We opened up August of 2022, so very new still.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much. But it was a long time coming. We spent 2 years of working towards finding a building, which is not the easiest thing because a cidery is roughly like a brewery. We have a tap room, we make all of our product on site, but the product is hard cider. It's oftentimes mistaken for something similar to beer, but really it's more similar to wine than anything. We take apples, fresh pressed, fermented over time, and that turns into hard cider. At that point, we're introducing blueberry, pineapple, cranberry, other fruits. But my final product, we're not adding in any concentrates, sugars, food coloring. It is just this natural, refreshing product. So I'd been making cider for a time before COVID. And during COVID, my wife was 8 months pregnant. I had a lot of time on my hands. So of course, like any normal person, I made a lot of alcohol in my basement. And it only escalated from there. And for a long time, my wife and I wanted to start something in the Brainerd Lakes area. We wanted to start a business where we could offer a good product, but then also create a place for people to gather. We felt that there was just this lacking of places to go, feel welcome, make friends, and that was the heart behind starting Woodlore Cider. And so now we have this tap room, and it is phenomenal. We had Tim Ranweiler with Anchor Companies did a lot of the construction for us, but it used to be Crowing Cabinets just north of Pleasureland. There was a call center where our tap room is, foam ceilings, carpet, there's walls, and we had knocked down some walls, tore up the carpet, took out the ceiling, and now when you walk in, you're walking off the highway, but you are seeing this just massive fireplace with 2 huge windows, and it feels like you stepped off the highway and you stepped up north. And one of the best compliments we get, like I love when people love our cider and enjoy it, but when somebody says, I feel really comfortable here, I feel really like welcomed in, that makes me feel like we're doing our job well. We're doing what we set out to do.
How did you get interested in this, and how did
Yeah.
you get trained to
Yeah.
know what to do?
Well, that's a great question. So cider making is, I'd say, easier than making beer because it is essentially taking this fruit juice and creating an environment where you can add yeast and it's able to ferment over time. But if I can get cider to be its best nature, its best taste, it's not what I'm putting into it that's shining through. It is the natural fruit that's shining through. And I'm fascinated with all kinds of alcohol. I love a good stout. I love a good whiskey. But I was drawn towards cider because it is just that really natural product. And that idea of being able to create something out of that really drew me in. And I made all right cider in my basement, but knowing that I'd be trying to graduate from making little glass gallons worth of cider to we make upwards of 2,000 to 5,000 gallon batches of this product at a time, I wanted to make sure we would do it right. So I ended up hiring a consultant, and we worked with this individual for a year closely and just learned really the secrets of the trade. And there's, I think, a really cool aspect about this industry is there's a lot of helping hands. The cideries in Duluth, the cideries in Minneapolis are over the top willing to help us out because the industry has this mentality of all boats rise with a high tide. And it's a newer product to I think there's just the consumers because it's not been around as often. Cider's been around since 1776. George Washington had his trees for cider, but it disappeared after Prohibition, and it's slowly coming back more recently. So we have gotten help from all kinds of cideries. They offer advice, they offer insight, and we want to do the same. But I've never been in an industry where you can walk in the doors of a competitor and they'll give you tips, they'll give you resources, and they'll give you a free drink and send you on your way.
That's cool.
It's the coolest industry I've ever been in.
Does it require many special licenses?
Oh, that's a touchy subject. It requires a lot. You got to jump through hoops, and I think it would surprise people, but me being in the industry now and having jumped through all the hoops, gotten all the licensing, there is an incentive to me to say, yeah, let's keep those barriers of entry there, but frankly, as many of the hoops we can remove as possible, the better. Like, competition in this industry is not a bad thing. I want to make sure consumers can have the best product and be introduced to introduced to something they've never been able to experience before. So I'm all for removing some barriers of entry, but for now, I had to bend over backwards for a couple of years to make it work.
Did you have somebody help you do that, to walk through that process?
Yes and no. Our consultant was able to help for some of it. He helped mostly with the recipe side of things, but it is a stumbling forward process where we had multiple layers of inspectors coming in, multiple layers of documents to fill out in order to get licensed, and the state was helpful, but I think there's some redundancies there that could be cleaned up.
Do you have a particular room full of like stainless steel equipment that?
Oh yeah, it's a very expensive room.
I'll bet it is.
I about had a hernia when we were taking the equipment off of the semi trucks because they're $20,000 tanks, and
Wow. All stainless. I
all
suppose.
stainless steel, and we may or may not have used the best equipment. We used a forklift, and it was. I still
Got a
feel
few
stressed
scratches
thinking
there.
about it. It came out flawless, but we picked up one of those 2,000-pound tanks with the forklift, and I'm still stressed about it. But we got it off, and the most difficult part of getting this stainless steel equipment into our production space was. I think a classic thing that business owners run into, just a hurdle you don't expect. We had a 10-foot garage door and a 10.5-foot tank.
Oh,
and
wow.
It might not be that big of a difference, but it was a 2,000-pound tank that we couldn't just pick up and move. And our first attempts weren't the best ideas, but they worked. I'll paint the picture for you. And if you ever find yourself moving a 10.5-foot tank through a 10-foot door, don't do this. We took a truck, took a strap, tied it to the bottom of the tank, tied it to the back of the truck. We took our forklift, lifted the tank off the ground, and then started pulling with the truck. Just unbelievable tension, but sure enough, the tank starts to tip. That forklift has a certain level of capacity, and we started to exceed that capacity. And you start to see this 10,000-pound forklift lift off the ground a little bit. And it was,
Wow.
I'm still stressed, guys.
Wow.
But we made it, we're all good, and now we're in production and getting fantastic reviews. And it's so rewarding after 2 years to have people come into our tap room and just experience that product, it's rewarding.
When you started this, have you ever had a bad batch?
No, surprisingly.
No. Wow.
I expected some to be okay, but I'm genuinely proud of everything we've been able to put out. And a piece of advice we've gotten, and we will hold to it, is if a batch we create doesn't seem like something I'm proud of, we're not going to sell it. But I'm glad we've not run into that yet. Really, everything we've put out, I think because it is just this natural product and we're not having to throw in extra sugars and throw in all these extra steps, it's just simply apples shining through. It's turned out fantastic.
How big is your tap room? How many people can you handle?
Yeah, so we can handle up to about 100 people.
Oh, wow.
We currently don't have seats for 100 people. We have seats for about, I think I'm at 70 seats, but we're going to continue to expand as we grow. And we've got space for a patio out back. For now, it's just picnic tables, but we're going to continue to develop it. And there's this beautiful marsh behind our building. And again, you walk in, you see this fireplace and these giant windows just facing.
So do you have a little
Northland.
deck area out back?
Eventually we will.
Okay.
But for now, it's just some picnic tables and string lights. And we've got dog bowls out there for dogs and free treats for dogs as well.
Cool.
Nothing for cats, though.
Well, one of the things that I've learned over the years is that people who are in small business or mid-sized businesses that are still here have weathered some real tough storms. Not only the recession, but the virus, which changed everyone's life. And I know there are still restaurants in the region that are still struggling because they haven't gotten those people back, the numbers that they used to have. What were some of the obstacles that you had, Paul, when you started doing your business in Crosby?
So opening in 2019, we've faced a couple of things. The big one is COVID, which counterintuitively actually worked in our favor. Because a lot of the folks from the Twin Cities ended up moving up to their cabins on a temporary or full-time basis. And so that enlarged our customer base right out of the gate. And because we are an essential business selling food and spirits, we never had to close for a shutdown. And so we actually sailed through with increases in revenue during the years of COVID. We count our blessings. We know that we're the anomaly. And we've also had 2 years of road construction. And so
Haven't we all?
there you go. But the reality is we have ended up with a gorgeous downtown with redone streetscape and sidewalks. And so a little short-term pain was absolutely worth it for the way downtown looks now that the projects are completed. So, we absolutely had so much luck on our side through the first 3 years of our business.
I didn't ask you this, Josh, but do you have a website?
Yep, we have a website. It's woodlorecider.com. And
Woodlore?
Woodlore.
Okay.
Woodlore means knowledge of the woods.
L-O-R-E?
Yep, Wood, L-O-R-E. And the best place to follow us is on Facebook, too. I did have a quick question for you, Paul.
Yeah.
So I believe you're the only place that actually makes your own ice cream in the area.
We do.
Are you distributing that at all?
So right now I am working with a Minnesota nonprofit by the name of Agricultural Utilization Resource Institute. There's a name for you. With the end goal of getting our ice cream into widespread distribution. And so we're kind of at the tipping point right now. It's either going to happen or it's not, but we're right at that decision-making part of the business. Our goal, of course, is to do that because not only do we make a great ice cream, but the fact that it is lactose-free and one of the best ice creams that you've ever had just means that we really don't have any competition in the marketplace. And we think that we've got a product that deserves to be in the stores.
Yeah, well, I agree. I've tried it.
Thank you.
You don't get to experience a lot of that craft ice cream either. Like the health benefits aside, I wish that we'd have more of that local craft ice cream, and I think that's cropping up, but that's something you should be proud of.
Why, thank you. But just like you sought counsel in launching the cider business, we too have had a lot of education and hands-on work to develop the ice cream. We too made it at home. And when we made it at home, it's out in the driveway with an old White Mountain hand crank. And boy, it was good ice cream, but it doesn't hold a candle to what we're doing at this point in time. So besides partnering with AURI to launch the business 4 years ago, I also took classwork at University of Wisconsin-Madison at Babcock Hall in their dairy facility to learn about ice cream from a scientific point of view. And I contracted with the head of the food sciences department there to fine-tune our base mix recipe to make it as good as it could possibly be. And in the coursework that we did, we sampled an awful lot of ice cream. There was one exercise where we had about approximately 20 different brands. Some of them were widely known national brands of vanilla ice cream. And the lesson for that day was just to sample every company's vanilla ice cream. And when you start tasting them side by side, you realize that there's a lot of really bad ice cream out there. And the lesson for the day was nail your vanilla. And when you get that vanilla, everything else follows. And so the vanilla that we have in the case is called Double Double Vanilla Vanilla. And it uses both Madagascar and Tahitian vanillas blended together in a proprietary ratio. And it is a spectacular vanilla ice cream. And I absolutely love it.
We are out of time. Fascinating discussion. I can see why your business is successful. You both are good salespeople.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to share the information about your organizations and your businesses with us. Appreciate it very much. You've been watching Lakeland Currents, where the small businesses are what drive our economy, and don't hesitate to visit these places that were featured here today. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.